You have done a dive into the Hunter Biden laptop stuff, and you have some text. You were sharing this with me yesterday.
Yeah,
and it's hard
I want to show you. It's one thing to say it.
to process.
It's another thing,
yeah,
it's
you're
another
right.
thing to see it. So the Post revealed pretty much everything. But what I'm showing you now, they never put any emphasis on. And no one ever put any emphasis on it until about 3 days ago.
The New York Post finally
Put some emphasis on
put this stuff.
This should have been back in October of 2020.
Right.
This should have been on the front page of every newspaper in America and in the world. Because this is to me, and take my word for it, there are very few people who know RICO better than I do. This is the core of a racketeering enterprise. Yes. This is what you need. You don't convict with this, but this is what you need to bring all the elements together when you have bribery. Like, I have a big chart that I should have brought with me. It's the Biden point man RICO case. Every time Obama appoints him as a point man. Iraq, he's supposed to get a status of forces agreement. Biden fails. As Gates said, he always fails. America loses. They get a third of a $1.5 billion housing contract for James Biden. They send him to Ukraine. He's supposed to get them arms and beat the Russians, and he's supposed to help with corruption. Never gives them a single offensive weapon, and he adds to the corruption. He fails for the U.S. They make $8 to $14 million. They send him to China. He's supposed to get China to back off the Sakhalin Islands that they were militarizing. They go ahead and they pick other islands. In fact, the New York Times criticizes him for what a bad job he did negotiating. But it doesn't publish it. At the same time, his son went with him on that trip. And 10 days after the trip, and 10 days after we were sold out, the Biden family got a $1 billion commitment to the private equity fund that included Whitey Bulger's nephew.
This is like when the Corleones sent Fredo to Las Vegas.
Yeah. Now, suppose I could put that evidence in and 20 more things, and then I could produce I never had this clear statement of a RICO conspiracy.
Okay.
Suppose I could put this in. That was hidden.
Okay, so now the Post finally covered this a couple days ago.
A couple of days ago, and it's now. And
this is an email from Hunter Biden to what? His sister?
To his daughter.
His daughter. Okay.
On the theory that they're going to get more involved in the business.
Okay, and it says, this is Hunter Biden.
And this is Christmas Day, if I recall correctly, 2018.
I love all of you, but I don't receive any respect, and that's fine, I guess. This sounds like Fredo Corleone. But I don't receive any respect, and that's fine, I guess. Works for you, apparently. I hope you all can do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard, but don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary.
So if you consider him a co-conspirator, this is an admission.
Is this?
Yeah, that's what I did too. I saw it on the computer, and I said, "Is this? Check this one out and make sure it's valid."
Okay, so this is on the laptop. We all know it's real, and you're saying, as a big-time prosecutor of RICO, this is the smoking gun. And you're going to build a case around this.
It explains all the questions we've been asking. Why would the most crooked man in Ukraine give him $8 to $14 million for Hunter Biden? Well, he didn't. He did it for Joe Biden. Why would Joe Biden get his case dismissed?
But don't worry. Unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary.
Now, why is Pop entitled to half the salary?
This is amazing. We're going to be back with Mayor Giuliani. I know you're not going anywhere because you'd be crazy to go someplace. We'll be right here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Godfather 4, where we explore.
It's better than 3.
But I don't receive any respect. It's not like they say, like I'm stupid.
Rodney Dangerfield,
I do things.
Remember Rodney Dangerfield?
Of course.
I never get any respect around here.
Respect. Listen, this is like we would make it up. You have here.
I'd be accused of if I were doing a case, the defense lawyer would accuse me of having written this up.
Well, right, because it's too perfect.
Yeah, 30 years. So for a RICO case, you need an extended time, 30 years. He gives you that. For a RICO case, you'd need business transactions that went on. Well, we got 12 of them. And then for a RICO case, you need you got to scratch your head and say, well, why would they have given the money? None of this money makes any sense unless it's for Joe and his influence.
Obviously.
And then you see things that Joe did for that company, like save them in one case, or in the case of China, back off the Sakhalin Islands. How about recently, Biden took us out of the Bagram Air Force Base, 400 miles from China. That's a sin.
Listen, this
400
is...
miles, you would, if you didn't have one, you'd be begging for, if I were president of the United States at any time, and China decided to act militarily, I would curse the hell out of Biden for giving up that base 400 miles from China.
Okay, but isn't it obvious? In other words, people with common sense, which is most Americans, okay, with common sense, they look at this and they say, this is so corrupt. Joe Biden made a deal with China. China would help him win the election,
and pay him,
but he would have to play ball and give them Afghanistan. Because how do you explain what he did in Afghanistan? No one, to my mind, has been able to explain what happened in Afghanistan.
Well,
it makes no human sense.
So if you say he gave them Afghanistan, I'm not disagreeing with you. It's hard to prove that. But it isn't hard to prove that he gave up an air base which had just been modernized 400 miles from our biggest enemy in the world. And he got his phony head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to say, it wasn't a strategic location. That is asinine. That is crazy. They should have thrown him off. If I were the chairman of the committee, I'd have thrown him out of the room for doing that. So you read this and you say to yourself, okay, I got it. This is a bribery scheme. Hunter is the bag man. They try to cover it up with, he can't give the money directly to daddy. So if they need 30 grand to remodel the house, he does that. He pays for the tuition for his daughter, his sister. What kid pays for the tuition of his sister?
I was going to say, clearly they're using him to sign all the papers.
You can avoid taxes that way,
and
too.
to do everything. It's like Judy Holliday and Broderick Crawford in that film with William Holden. What is it? Well, you know, he just sign the papers here, sign the papers, because I don't want to be liable. So he's having his son do all this dirty work.
So then if I tried this case, I would say, I'd also call a witness who would testify that this is the typical way they do corruption in China. They do it through the family. So when they want to get to you as the head of the party, they get your son and they give him a $2 million job. So this is a deliberate scheme that was the core of the bribery scheme and the RICO scheme. And off this, you could do about 12 transactions where the Bidens got money ranging from about $12,000 to 1.5 billion.
So folks, we'll see you in a couple of seconds. Don't go away.